Hey everybody, and welcome back to No Vacancy. This is Glenn Hausman. I'm excited to bring you a special bonus episode today, where we're going to be focusing on this strange anomaly that I've seen in the meeting business. I know. It's a very mysterious tease, and we're going to get to that in just one second. But I find it amazing is no matter how far ahead we are with technology in the general hospitality business, the entire hotel industry has kind of been behind on the meetings industry until now. And that's why I have Ms. Lauren Hall. She's a co-founder and CEO of IVvy. And you're coming to me not straight from, but kind of from Australia, which I love, a place of the world that I want to go to. Lauren, how are you today?
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Glenn, for having me. It's a great opportunity to be able to share the world with what we're doing. So thank you so much.
Well, honestly, I just wanted to hear that Australian accent for a half an hour. That's exactly why I'm having you on this show. I think it's the best accent on the planet. You know, a little bit better than my Brooklyn accent over here. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. You never know. I might finish off with, thanks, mate. And then you'll know exactly that I'm from Australia.
Yes, exactly. I like saying the mate thing. It's so much cooler than my buddies or friends or whatever. All of that stuff doesn't sound natural. Mate sounds better. I think I am going to try to make that happen here on this side of the world. All right, but I could talk about that for the next half an hour. But I really want to talk to you a little bit about the struggles that I see right out there in the meetings business. One of the problems that I seem to notice is we are so advanced in so many ways, but when it comes to the meeting business, I feel like it's 1985, Lauren. What's going on?
Well, I think it has. I think it's the one whole area of industry that has never been digitized. It's actually sat behind the development of travel, accommodation, flights, that whole side of the industry is actually quite mature. And but one of the areas that has actually never been worked on is actually the events ecosystem. And the reasons for that is because, there's a lot of manual processes that are involved, and that's quite a highly complex industry.
Right.
And typically most people, when they're trying to organize an event, generally will go on Google. They'll go, I have a couple of places that I'm looking for, whether it's in New York or, they basically are looking for things, and they have to pick up the phone. They then have to phone different venues and find out if they're available. They have to wait for people to come back to them, firstly to respond to their call and messages. So it's a very, very manual. And then people have to do quotes, and then they have to come back to the people before they actually know what's available and pricing. And there's this whole backwards, forwards process before you actually even know whether you can have the venue, what the prices are, and whether your event is going to suit that property, besides the balance of all the additional suppliers like entertainers and caterers and AVs. But what people don't realize that the meetings industry is actually bigger than the automotive industry worldwide. And
Right.
It is highly fragmented and disparate because of manual processes and lots of old legacy-based systems that exist in some of these properties.
That's right. It's amazing. If you want to, think about it this way, and I'm speaking to the listeners out there, it's kind of like how some of the major reservation systems like holodecks are still out there, but they're trying to figure out how to extricate themselves from this old legacy technology and make it more efficient and modern. And the meetings business, it seems, is just stuck in this one place, and it's crazy to me. I'm getting anxiety, Lauren, just thinking about it, how much work needs to be done in order to put together a basic meeting. And if I was a meeting planner, I think about those countless hours and hours and hours of back and forth and waiting, and what a pain point that is for a meeting planner trying to be productive in 2017 when you look around and everyone else is flying at the speed of digital light.
Oh, absolutely. And, people don't realize that. And, every day I talk to people, the pain is more and more evident. And it's not a local problem. It's actually a global problem.
Right.
And, it's unbelievable that it's been stuck in, the dark ages. However, it's a very complex problem to solve because there's so many different stakeholders that require being engaged along the process. And typically in organizing an event, it can take up to 6 weeks just to collate the data to get approval to then move forward to contract. So our goal, when going through the process of, I sat on the other side of the table. What was hard for me when I look back in my history is the fact that organizing events, besides that, it could take 6 weeks. The hardest part was when you're going through the backwards forwards process, you still don't know until such time as you confirm at the final point that that venue is still available,
Right.
okay, or that supplier is still available. And because, it's first come, first serve, lock down your contracts, and you may miss the boat and you can waste time and money. And this is a typical problem that is being felt all over the world. And so, the goal when I was organizing some major events in South Africa, because my originality was obviously coming in from South Africa, it was such a massive problem having many years organizing events. I said, I just wanted to solve this fundamental pain point. I said, it drove me absolutely stark staring mad, the amount of time it took for my teams to get everything together before we could actually move forward. So we took that process from normally doing 6 weeks down to 6 minutes. But in order to achieve that, you have to understand the pain that exists on all sides of the coin, not only from
Right.
the venue side, from the supplier side, from the meeting planner side, what they want. Because as we go through technology today, people are now becoming accustomed to instant access, instant satisfaction, live availability, knowing that I can have something and what it's going to cost and can I book and pay for it. And the methodology applied, and you can do that for flights, you can do it
Right.
for insurance, you
Yeah.
can pretty much do it for everything,
Everything,
but
my whole
not
life.
meetings.
I could get
Yeah.
groceries delivered here within the hour, but it's still, if I'm trying to plan a meeting, it's going to take me months and months and months to just get it all organized. But Lauren, what I find interesting is I spend a lot of time worrying about what the meeting planner is thinking, but what about those people that are at the hotel itself? They're losing a lot of time and effort too. So it must have been an interesting relationship with you trying to get stuff done, with them trying to get stuff done, and all of these blockades up between the two groups that made it seemingly impossible to move along in an efficient manner.
Absolutely. And I think that the key to success is actually understanding each one of those stakeholders. We worked very closely with meeting planners when we built our event technology, and we built an entire technical tool set that enabled the event planner to manage that entire 360 relationship across organizing event. We then spent 4 years building venue management software, working with the hotel industry to build the best of breed solution that would actually manage the processes that are so time consuming and labor intensive. So typically in a venue, they could take 2 or 3 days to respond to an RFP. And that's only because they're getting hundreds of
Right.
RFPs and you've got these administrators that are trying to respond to it. So what we did was actually work out that human engagement process through algorithms and understanding the human buying processes. And then we automated the entire buying sequence and brought that process basically from days down to less than 2 minutes, which would
Woo.
take lead to conversion to contract, blocked out, automated, and it yields your profitability and helps you drive your revenue growth.
Wow. All right. So I want to
So
go
it's a
through.
huge
Yeah.
thing.
Right. I want to go through all of this, step by step. But I do want to say that you guys have been around, and we're talking about Ivy, and I'm speaking with Lauren Hall, the co-founder and CEO. You've actually been around since 2009. You have users already in more than a dozen countries, and now you're debuting here in North America. You're going to have an office here in the New York area, and it's good to know that you've been established and working on this a long time, and now you're coming to North America, which is the prime environment for you. You ready for the spotlight on you guys?
Absolutely. I think that it's such an exciting market to come into. America is a $400 billion market. We know that, our goal was to really build the world's first global distribution platform for the meetings and events industry. We're so excited because it's taken 8 years for us to build and prove it out in Australia, to not only build the event, the enterprise technology solution, but to build the aggregator and rules engine and algorithms to automate the human process. And then we created this entire distribution engine because my goal is actually not to just build technology. Technology is only an enabler. Our goal is actually to bring the whole of industry together. There's so much fragmentation. We can actually bring from the buyer right down to the middleman and venue sources, right down to the supply chain, and aggregate all of that data through a centralized platform. And the power is actually in doing that more so than just providing software, because that is just the mechanism
Right.
that brings people together and connects them. And I'm so excited to come into America because it is one of the markets that is so desperately in need of a solution that solves solves these problems. And it's just so wonderful to be here.
Right. It really sounds to me, you're right. It's not really about the technology thing. It's almost as if you're the eHarmony, which is, a matchmaking dating site for the meetings kind of a business, matching quite simply and easily the meeting planner with the right type of venue for them, and then getting them to interact in an organic kind of a way. Yes?
Absolutely. And to bring that into a seamless environment, because one of the challenges we all have is that, as you see with things developing so quickly, it's all about the customer experience.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you look at hotels, they want to drive direct business. If you're looking at meeting planners, they're trying to deliver a great event. The challenge you have is when people are trying to organize events, the customer is actually the one that suffers in the end, because there's all these manual processes and nothing actually talks to one another. And the problem with a lot of tech companies
Right.
and a lot of different suppliers, they all work in isolation of each other. And what my whole goal is much bigger than just, as I said, technology. It's about bringing everything together, being the glue that holds the buyer and the supplier together, and then providing the data and the insights to understand that human behavior and understand how big the industry is and what value it brings to the economy. Because it's much just bigger than just transactions. It's actually starting to drive change and being a catalyst of being that
Right.
next big shift for the whole of industry.
Yes, I agree. So let's break it down from being this whole global giant opportunity to specifically how it's going to help a person that's on the sales level at the hotel and that person trying
Yep.
to create the meeting. Because as great as it is for the globe, hey, everybody just wants to get their job done and they want to do it the best that they can. So how can people find success using IVvy and simplify their entire existence?
Absolutely. So, like, if you had to look through the eyes of a meeting planner, what they want to know, the first question they want to ask is, are you available on a specific date when I need you? So what we did is we created this search engine that says, if I'm looking for a venue in New York with 3 breakout rooms, $100 a head, and I don't want prawns on the menu,
Right.
I want to be able to be instantly satisfied that I know who is available and can I have them and what is it going to cost. So in order for us to achieve that, we had to build software on the other side to enable the live availability rates and inventory to be exposed on our
Right.
marketplace, and then to enable the buyer to then connect, book, and pay for it in real time. So our whole goal was actually looking at both sides of the coin very much in detail. So we started that process. So what I'm very comfortable in terms of our marketplace, which is currently only available in Australia and New Zealand at this point, which is coming into the US within the next 12 months. And that is the reason, because we are working hands down on driving live inventory, which will then be made available to the meeting planner.
Right.
We're also working very closely with the corporate market because we can build these private marketplaces where they have preferred vendors that we can onboard for them before critical masses is built and available to the public. So, but it's actually an opportunity where, instead of now the event organizer spending days searching, they can do it in less than 2 minutes, know which venue is available on what date. But what's also really exciting, it's not just about venues, it's actually about the rest of the ecosystem too, which is also how many times you'd like to organize a speaker and are they available on the date, and how many people
Right.
you've got to go through to be able to organize it. The same with musicians, same with catering, the same with AV, all these peripheral suppliers that actually have been lost along the way, that have to spend so much time trying to navigate getting into be those suppliers to those entities. So
Wow. Well, now you've got me excited here because I'm an industry speaker, for example, and I work with a particular AV company a lot at events. So to know now that I have a solution for myself that I never even would have imagined because I'm not directly related to the hotel business, that's a pretty interesting, creative, and gives that meeting planner that sense of simplicity that I think we've really been missing all these years.
Oh, it has. And it's because none of these suppliers, and that's in the entire events ecosystem, have ever been digitized.
Right.
So what we did is we've created these enterprise SaaS management systems that enable us to manage inventory, time-based. We drive your invoicing CRMs, and we actually have the ability to publish all your availability and pricing online through your website and through multiple distribution channels, because we've built all of them. And what we do is we actually are aligned to driving your revenue growth. This is something that can cover a one-man person who's an amazing wedding cake maker for weddings, right up to speakers and entertainers that work on the global circuit. It actually covers every single player in the
Jeez.
market. And it's so easy to be able to onboard our technology and be visible and live. And the goal for me was to be realistically drive change and really empower these communities that have never ever been
Right.
enabled to do that.
Wow, that's amazing. I feel like your next tagline should be "From shrimp to speakers, we do it all." That's
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you're right.
That's pretty crazy. All right, so now I'm a hotelier, right? I understand
Yes.
from the meeting planner side why it would be so great. How is this going to assist hoteliers, and why should the resorts and all the properties with meeting space be involved with Ivy?
Well, and it's really, really pertinent, that question, because, in order to get most of these hotels are all looking to drive direct business. They're looking to be able to drive revenue growth, drive profitability, and reduce their costs. Now, we can actually, by putting in a system like us, now typically these hotels, particularly large chains, they have very large incumbent systems that actually don't have connections to the customer. It's all back of house systems that generally take manual processes.
Hmm.
And that's whether they have to type up a quote for a couple of hours. There's no way to be able to automate that buying process. So when it comes to them, what we like to do is, some of them that are using a sales and catering system, they can either use our system, or we can connect to them. We connect into their property management systems and integrate into their channel managers, and so that we can provide that availability online. But what's really important from a venue's perspective is, for the first time ever through our platform, is we give them these enterprise solutions
Hmm.
that enable them to manage their entire back of house process, connect all their properties together with a central res platform with yielding dashboards that now they actually can track and manage, cross and upsell within their own groups.
Wow.
Okay, all their meeting, F&B, group accommodation that they never could do prior. And what's even better is that we've seen over the last 12 months that the groups that have been using our solution that have more than 15% greater conversion rate just because of using our technology. Now, when you
Wow,
take multiple
15%.
properties like that,
That's
yeah,
pretty big.
yeah,
So
and we've written the
people are
business
just
cases on it
so
as well.
because everything is more efficient and easier, and less things could be missed because you're not going to miss anything. That's kind of driving that sense of confidence by the meeting planner to make the buy more often.
Correct.
Yeah.
And what our goal was never to take the negotiation out of their hands. What you want to do is you want to provide instant availability. You want to know what price you're starting at, and you can still negotiate your FOCs. What we want to do is take the grunt work out of the administration and enable people to have the conversation, finalize their deals, and convert it in a fraction of the time. And it has benefits upstream and downstream on both sides of the coin.
Well, yeah, it sounds to me like it's great for both sides if I want to put together something relatively last minute, or if I'm a hotelier looking to perhaps fill excess space during a off season type of period.
Absolutely. And look, at the same time, people could forward book a year out, okay,
Yeah, of
with
course.
the availability, because we're the operating system that sits at the source of the data. We always have live availability. But what I think is what's really important as well, that's really unique about the solution, is people go backwards and forwards on menus and changing items, and trying to finalize their day delegate packages and all their group lunches and
Yes.
breakfasts and all these different things. And it's really, really time consuming. So what we did is we built the solution that the consumer can say, I want to take off the prawns and add the beef. Automatically, it recalculates it, and it's instant. There
Mm-hmm.
is no having to wait for somebody to come back to you for that. And
Uh,
that's really fantastic.
Well, that alone could save a couple of days, because I've seen this happen. You make the phone call, and then they're like, I'll get back to you. And then you wait 2 days later, and then you get a new fax coming in, not even an email,
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
unbelievable how far away the technology that's being used is to now. But one of the neat things that I think that you folks are doing is you've really created this type of a product for the smallest individual hotel with function space all the way up to much, much larger type of venues. And I think the secret to that is because you created a cloud-based system. So you don't have any need for the Oracle or Delphi or any of those kinds of things anymore, right?
Correct. Correct. And look, the thing, the challenge we have with some of the bigger players, where you've got the Oracle and the Delphis of the world, you know, they hold a lot of the hotels really hostage because of their connections
Right.
and unwillingness to really want to partner with other young technology companies because of potential disruption.
Hmm.
And I believe that we actually have a get better goal. We don't need to disrupt them because we have a cheaper, faster, new generation system. We can actually work together. If they provide an API connection to us, we can help provide the value chain that exists at the customer, which is that venue at that point for those systems.
Hmm.
So all we want to do is access that inventory, get it out online, distribute it to thousands and thousands of users, and help them grow. Because when they grow, the economy grows, employment grows, and the natural ability for the impact of overall industry is significant.
What does this mean to the actual on-site salesperson? Will hotels eliminate some of these folks, or will they just have their hours reallocated, distributed? How does that work from the hotelier side?
Well, I think that what we've seen in the industry is that, and particularly through the years that we've been working with it, is that there's been a change. There's been a shift about the type of person that they employ.
Hmm.
It's more from the administration side. They actually become revenue managements, and they start focusing on profitability versus just responding administratively to a piece of
Right,
business.
right.
Because we've created those tools, it helps them understand which is the most profitable piece of business for them to take, and help them actually get greater conversions, knowing of the right qualified piece of business. But at the same time, what they are now refocusing is that it's all about the customer experience and about retention and bringing the customer back to the property for their next event. And so these organizers and the people working at the venues now have a better role doing the things that they should be doing, and that's working with the customer on engagement, on better experiences.
Right.
And instead of doing the grunt work, they certainly can do a lot more when they've reduced the amount of time that it takes to do all the manual work.
Well, that's spectacular, Lauren, and this is why I love companies such as yours, because you're really understanding that new paradigm. I hate using that phrase, that new paradigm of where we are in hospitality, all about that experience, while simultaneously finding ways to maximize the revenue from each company. So you're actually creating a venue for folks to make more money while actually increasing customer satisfaction, which I think is a real win-win. So pretty impressive move there. I like it.
Well, one of the things that I thought was actually
Yeah.
probably the most interesting, I started this journey nearly 10 years ago with having gone through all the experiences and building my first platform.
Hmm.
And what has actually come about in terms of the analytics is that I knew then that behavior would change. And what we actually found through our marketplace is the fact that we had over 10,000 leads and over $50 million worth of bookings put through in 12 months. And that was a brand new marketplace, proving the fact that transactions could actually take place online. But more so than just the money, it was about the behavior. We found that 63% of them were women between 25 and 35. We found that 68% of all of those buyers, men and women, were shopping between 6 and 12 at night, and 30% of them on mobile, which meant that most of the properties did not have their sales team.
Right.
And people were looking to be accessible 24/7. So our goal was, let's make you a 24-hour sales engine, okay, and enable your venues to transact without even you having staff. So that by the time, it's like going to sleep, making money while you sleep. Okay, so
Whoa,
what
whoa!
we did is
That's what I
create that
like.
engine to do that.
Yeah, could you figure out a way for me to make money while I nap? That'd be
Absolutely.
really.
You'll get on as my speaker platform. There we go, and I will make you rich.
I love that, Lauren. That's so cool. So okay, so now you're here in the United States, as we talked about a little earlier. What's the state of folks, your business in America? Because if I'm here, I probably want to get involved right away from both the meeting planner side and the hotel type of side. What do I have to do? What's next? What can you tell us about that?
Well, as you know, we've been launching at Hyatt. It's kind of our debut
Hmm.
into the US market. I've just recruited a fantastic leadership team that's going to be based in New York, and we will obviously have our website, our brand new website for the USA just went live on Monday, and all of our servers are partitioned for the US. Obviously, the really really important part of building technology for the US market due to compliance and PCI and privacy and all those legislative laws. We would love people to be able to talk to us and engage with us, because we have a team going out that will be engaging all the venues, corporates, meeting planners, and the likes. We've now put in another 30-man global sales team coming out of South Africa as well, that's servicing the US and the UK markets. We have a 45-man team out of Australia that's also providing 24-hour support. We're really here to make a difference, and we really want to work with everybody within the industry, solve their problems, and bring everybody together. And we would love to have those conversations, because we have something that is incredible.
And you are a startup that is not a startup. You've been around for a long time, and you're working
scale up.
Yeah, so you're working not just with hotels, that I think it's important to mention, but restaurants and just specific venues that are function oriented, golf courses and clubs, and all sorts of things like that.
Absolutely. And there's no limitation. And we even work with cruise liners and people that have got private yachts, anything that you want to rent as a function. It's just space. What we've realized is that our technology can be applied to anything that is an underutilized asset. And now you have the ability to expose that and put it online and actually drive your revenue. It's just a fantastic way of bringing those pieces of puzzle together. And there is no limitation for the application itself. It is really an automated sales management, lead management, payments processing system. But what makes us unique, it's the software, it's the connections, and it's the entire distribution engine all in one. And we would, working with every single sector. Customers are not just looking for hotels. They are looking for unique venue spaces, beautiful restaurants that are themed, anything that is something that's the next hot place that people want to be in town. So those are the type of places we want to work with as well, that start to keep getting excitement moving within the industry. So I think the opportunities are huge.
Totally. I like what you're saying, though, about the function venues. And I see this happening more frequently now. And when it's simple through a system such as IVvy, I think it'll make it a lot better. If you go to a hotel, you're there for 3 days for an event. And like I said, more frequently, you see them taking you off-site now to different venues, because they want to create that localized experience for the folks that are attending that event. So this is a great way to connect with both hotels and those unique and interesting venues that are within the cities that hotel is located. Lauren, before we wrap up here, what does IVvy stand for? And I should note it's IVvy, not IVy.
Yeah. Well, look, when I was doing brand strategy, I wanted something that was 4 letters, that when you're sitting at having a glass of wine with somebody in the bar, that they go, did you see that company IVvy? You must just go to ivvy.com, because that's where you can find everything. And it's easy to pass in language. With brand strategy, you've got to have something that has meaning. Now, the IVvy spreads like a vine. Our whole original playoff was where we connect everybody through like a vine, but it was all wired real time. And our whole payoff is it's where it all comes together. IVvy is the place. It's the one-stop shop that's going to give you everything. And it has just been a play on now as we develop our brands into the market with each one of our product suites. It will continue to play on, building that connections and spreading like wildfire.
Exactly. That's terrific. But we'll say it spreads like a vine instead. I like that better than fire. Yeah. So, Lauren, any final words before we go to the shameless plug section of this?
The shameless plug. Okay. No, look, I think that I'd love everybody to know that my total goal is really to reshape industry as we know it, and to help everybody along that supply chain. And this is bigger than Ben-Hur, and it is a highly complex problem to solve, and it takes participation to drive change. And the goal is really to, as we said, bring benefits and value on every side. And we would love everybody to participate, engage with us, work with us. We will make it work for every single person, because there's more than enough money on the table. And there's so many problems and inefficiencies that I know that we can ultimately solve. So it's a really important part of our journey in driving change, and being that, person that is being the pioneer of reshaping things as we know it.
Right. And as you said on the show floor at High Tech, when you made the big debut here, Google is to air travel and Amazon is to consumer trade. So you want to disrupt the events industry by giving meeting planners more real-time control and availability of information on a local and global scale. You're right. You are disrupting things like consumer trade and air travel, and you're doing it for the meetings and hospitality venue business. So congratulations on that. It was really great talking with you today, Lauren.
Thanks, Glenn. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. And again, be sure to check out Ivy. You can find that at IVvy.com and learn how you out there can start making money, simplifying your life, and getting to helping others create those experiences that matter. And most importantly, make more money. Thanks so much for listening. I'm Glenn Hausman, and I'll be back next week. That is unless I decide to go out and open a meeting venue, because now it seems so much easier. See you guys next week. Thanks for listening.